All right. Well, good morning. Today is a really special day because I have a good friend, Dr. Isaac Jones. And Isaac has an amazing story because not only have we been friends for over 15 years when I taught at Life University and he was an amazing student, but also, he was injured a few years ago and we were able to reconnect and he was able to utilize Softwave to recover from a grade 3 ACL tear on your right knee, correct?
Yeah, it was amazing. The the healing and the transformation that took place, I was blown away, actually. But yeah, you were a great teacher as well. I feel blessed that we're friends and that I got to learn from you. But it's great to be on this interview.
There's certain students are going to make it. We would sit in one room where Isaac was doing his report of findings in the other, and we would listen in. That's why he was just on point. You did some great work there at the clinic, as well as in your first couple practices. 3 years ago, you were on the podcast Free My Pain Now, so I'll have a link to that so everybody can see. But let's kind of fast forward. I mean, I have to tell you, 3.5 years ago at one of your events, Health Expert Alliances, I really had an epiphany. And I was struggling. I had over 110 doctors say no to me, and I had sold maybe a couple devices. And you gave me some great points that weekend, and you were like, Matt, you have to build a tribe. Number one, you have to have a network of people. You have to show your expertise. You have to show your knowledge in this emerging sector. You helped so many doctors along the way. I mean, Dr. Axe, Jay Davidson, the list goes on. But tell me what your focus was a few years ago when you started Health Expert Alliances.
Yeah, I wanted to be able to really pioneer the future of practice, because I knew that it wasn't just going to be this model where we didn't evolve with the times. We didn't integrate marketing that was more advanced marketing and integrate the virtual kind of systems that I saw with a lot of the brick and mortar practices I was working with that integrated virtual into their practices. And even people that have built very big kind of online systems and protocols and programs that drive revenue for brick and mortar practices. So when I saw that, and I was just in my private mastermind, I was like, man, like this is the future of healthcare. And these people are driving so much revenue for their brick and mortar practices because of what they're doing virtually, because they understand kind of the formula for online success. I was like, I need to get this out to as many people as I can. And so that's why I was actually nudged by a few of my doctors that were some of the biggest chiropractors in their states and some of the biggest medical doctors or functional medical practitioners. And they were like, Isaac, you should do a seminar. You're best friends with Dr. Axe. You help grow Dr. Axe, Dr. Jockers. You help grow these really big clinics and help them market and scale. And so why don't you put your expertise together and create Health Experts Alliance? And that was in 2014. And, this is something my team just made for me. Health Experts Alliance is sitting right in front of me while I was talking here. But we just have an amazing team of people that are just really you're committed to helping people understand what multi-million-dollar practices look like in the 21st century, how to grow. Like we're seeing massive growth right now in a lot of these practices because of the formulas and protocols that they're implementing. And that was the initial inertia to like, hey, let's do this live event. Let's help people out. And I know that you had actually come to a live event that another individual was there, I think like at a table right next to you. And it's just amazing because you were there He was there. A bunch of other people had so much success, but I just think of you two as kind of like the shining stars that from that seminar built these huge successful, businesses and systems, as you did with Softwave and whatnot.
Yeah,
So
you taught me what a funnel was. You taught me
yeah,
how to, and that's what it did. We created these online funnels, and we had doctors raising their hand that wanted more information. But let's, like, you might not always be the smartest guy, but you see things before others, I think is a
yeah,
great way to put it. And, fast forward the pandemic, and a lot of your doctors who had gone through your virtual training and, setting up consultations, they were in position A when this pandemic hit. And so many people were kind of struggling to either closing down their clinic. So kudos to you and your vision that you had.
yeah. We actually have some of the largest Softwave providers that are implementing our systems and creating a really great success. So it's really cool to see that. And the conversation I have in my mind around is asking the question, like, how can we 10x in the next 10 months to 12 months? How can we 10x our revenue, our leads, our our impact in our communities? So that's a question I'm posing, because when you ask the question, how do I double my revenue, it's different than asking the question, how do I 10x? Because when you 10x, you have to think differently around the answers, and you have to get creative with how you're going to actually 10x your revenue.
Yeah. And I think the most beautiful thing, I want to just say, like, Jeffrey Gladden, first off, he was the first doctor in Texas to have a device. He's a medical doctor, longevity specialist.
Yeah.
But he does a lot of virtual stuff. But not only does he see people in
He
his
lives in Puerto Rico 6 months of the year.
and then he sends his patients to other Softwave providers around the country when they're,
Yeah.
where they live. And that's how we
Yeah.
grow it. It's not, sometimes chiropractors were so territorial. This is my patient, but it's just like, how do we build this to the next level? And I honestly believe Softwave is that vehicle that it's the great equalizer. We're no longer a second-class healthcare provider. When we put parachiropractic with Softwave, we become this non-invasive orthopedic with a focus on posture and neurology. And I think that's the thing that the consumer is looking for. That they're sick of taking drugs and accidental overdose and the cortisone injections and joint replacements. I want to keep all my parts until they put me away. Tell me a little about your dad. Like your dad.
Oh yeah.
He's an amazing guy, and I've been lucky enough to treat him and your mom and your sister.
Yeah, so like Softwave has really had a massive impact in my life. Like, number one, I was able to share it with my good friend Josh Axe. I was able to share Softwave with my brother Warren Phillips, my brother-in-law Warren Phillips, and Dan Pompa initially. So I was able to kind of like help some of my friends in the health space understand what's available there with the Softwave. I can remember when Warren was texting me back being like, hey, is this thing legit? And I'm like, dude, it's legit. Like, it is totally legit. And so, for me, I would have never had my dad, go out of his way to get this done. I mean, we like, he fell off a ladder with a chainsaw, like 12 feet in the air, and the chainsaw landed right next to him, and he landed on the ladder and snapped his back, essentially. So he fell on the ladder and snapped his back and fractured it in, I think, 4 or 5 places. And so for me, the reason why I was like, okay, dad needs this is because I had my own transformation. Like, I had a massive trauma. I tore my ACL. I literally 90 degrees snapped my knee in the opposite direction. And it was the most excruciating pain I've ever been in. And it was something that I naturally healed my ACL. I regrew whatever was there. I created, just amazing like structural integrity and all of that. There was some things I needed to do a little bit later, but it was like mind blowing the results that I got. Like I was able to get back into the gym, play basketball, like
within 5 weeks. Yeah, I have that. And we have this all documented. It's called the amazing journey of Dr. Isaac Jones. Your dad, we were able to send Dr. Gupta from Toronto. He sent one of his associates up there.
Right.
They treated your dad.
Treated my dad. And listen to this. He gets treated. So you have to, like, ideally, to prevent from paralysis, address or use the device within 72 hours, right? That's the advice you gave me.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctors were saying, the likelihood of him being paralyzed from this is very high. And so he walked into the same doctor's office, right, that told him that. He walked in on, I think, a Friday, and they're like, what? Like, you're walking, like and there's no pain. And it was so bizarre to them. Like, obviously, like, to touch, there was some pain, but he was able to walk. And then, like, the fractures healed, and, the structural integrity is back, and, he's obviously under some chiropractic care and whatnot. But it was amazing that the Softwave technology healed his body at the level that it did.
Yeah. And the spinal cord injury study you're referencing is out of Austria, and they had a national health mandate that for the last 3 years, any spinal cord injuries get this treatment within 72 hours to really decrease the amount of scar tissue, anastomosis, and really loss of function. And we were able to. We did the same thing with Daniel Pompa. Again, you gave us that platform. Over 3 years ago, and make the introductions. Daniel is a young man who jumped from a 60-foot cliff and came up 5 feet short. I still remember the picture of you in the hospital.
Yeah. Daniel's a really close friend of mine. So it was so emotional to me. Like, I was in the hospital with him, and it was very challenging for me to, like, just even thinking about it. We went back to his house. I actually did TRT on his back. I did Softwave on his back, and just supported him through that process. Pulse electromagnetic frequencies.
We did a lot. I mean, we had a lot of stuff, and I'm so glad that you were.
I mean, when you fall off a 60-foot cliff, like, but TRT, like, it was amazing. Yeah, I like hung out with him last week in Park City, and it was like, or I guess it was in Salt Lake City. And it was like him walking around, like, I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying?
Listen, it creates supernatural healing because it's activating your innate immune system, which is your body's healing mechanism. And that's the thing, there's science behind it. So we know it's working. Thank you. I'll never forget you came in for a treatment. You're like, I'm going to do a Facebook Live with this. And literally, it's a painful thing. I don't think you knew it, but we had 2,300 views within like 2.5 hours. And again, you never asked for anything. You just do out of the goodness of your heart. And it's just awesome to have you as one of our key mentors for our Softwave View. So you got a good event coming up here, and end of September, beginning of October. How can our docs and technicians, how can they be part of this? Tell me a little bit. What's your vision for that?
Like, to get back to the initial question of, like, how can we 10x our businesses? Like, it might be in 3 years from now, it might be in 2 years, but, like, one of the reasons why people get such amazing results when they come to our seminars is they're asking better questions than they were before. And to really get the most out of getting the best answers, you have to ask really intelligent questions. And so even though you stated that I wasn't the most intelligent human being earlier, no, you're like, you're not the smartest guy. I was like, okay, all right. But it's true. Like, I do surround myself with ridiculously smart people. Like the marketer that scaled and grew drax.com to 1 point, or $150 million. Like, is one of my best friends, and we're constantly talking about marketing and strategies, and he's definitely smarter than me when it comes to marketing and scaling to 9 figures. When it comes to marketing funnels and copywriting, my in-house marketer Taylor and her team, they're just so genius and brilliant. And so it's very true. I do surround myself with very smart people. Oh, the one person that just came into my life recently, I guess it's been over a year now, was the this individual ran in the health space, $8 million, $20 million, now $50 million companies. And now he's a part of HEA. I'm pinching myself, because it's they see what's happening with this company. They see how many people we're helping, and how we are leading a movement in the future of healthcare, and how the practices of the future, will be integrating the things that we're talking about at the event coming up. So we're really going to be diving into how to disrupt healthcare, how you can be leaders in healthcare, how you can grow exponentially. We're seeing the fastest growth to $1 million we've ever seen in practices, because of the systems that they're implementing that will be uncovered at the event. And ultimately, we do want to give you the formula and the roadmap to how you can get to doubling, tripling, quadrupling, and ideally 10xing your growth. And so that's what we're going to get into in the event. The individual I was talking about earlier, he's going to be speaking. There's my head marketer, who's literally one of the most brilliant marketers that I know. She's going to be speaking.
Lisa.
Yeah. There's so many amazing people around me that you guys will literally come and be like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. And you'll see why a lot of the top Softwave people are thriving, and they're buying even more new devices. I got a text from one of our clients saying, hey, I think I'm going to buy a second or even third, Softwave device.
Dan
and I'm like,
right? Dan?
Yeah, exactly.
He's the neuropathy king. I love it. And, he's moving to a virtual platform. I have to say, it's like 3 degrees separation from Isaac Jones. It seems like, you've been such a core in so many people's success, and especially Softwave and mine. And, I'm grateful for that. And that's why we want to share what you're doing, because we're on a mission to change healthcare. And you had this vision 10 years ago before so many other people. And, I'm just grateful for you to be in our, in our lives and helping us, guide us. And it's funny, it's the student becomes the mentor. And that's really what happened here.
I'm grateful for that. I'm so happy to help to lead this movement in healthcare, because look, this, I believe, is the best time in history to be thinking big and leaning into building the dream practice that you've been waiting for, because there's more distrust in the medical system than ever before, given what's been going on the last few years. And there's more people that are questioning the traditional treatment strategies, that they're looking for alternatives. And so, there's this huge kind of movement away from disease care into true healthcare, and they're looking for ways that they can live longer. Let's see if I have the book. Here it is. There's this book here that goes over Silicon Valley research called Longevity Industry 1.0. I'm part of a longevity group, mastermind with Mercola and Dave Asprey right now. And I just want to show you this really cool graph that's, this isn't something that I came up with. This is obviously something that that's industry research out of Silicon Valley. But look at this number here, $17 trillion, $27 trillion by 2026. What they're showing is this huge wealth transfer that's taking place away from disease care into true longevity and disease prevention solutions and strategies. Softwave and what you guys are doing are included in that graph. You are on the upswing. And so this is from the deep, knowledge group from Silicon Valley. And let me just get the right names. It's called the Deep Knowledge Ventures is what it's called.
Cool.
And and so they're doing all this research and they're seeing this massive shift happening. And so I think it's up to us, to come to seminars like Health Experts Alliance Live and future and really like engaging with that content and that information, because we are going to be leading what I believe the wave of the future of healthcare for these brick and mortar practices that I know are going to be developing a hybrid of virtual elements, because a lot of our Softwave practitioners, they're having people find them from the internet. They're having people find them virtually. They're having people fly in to work with them. And so this is a game, like we're in the front wave of it. You do not want to be on the back end of this wave. And so we want to get you involved in the front end of the wave, which is why we're putting on this event. And it's not something we'll do, I don't think, again, like the way that we're doing it, because we're going to do something a little bit different. But this is going to be my, I think, 13th or 14th event that is like a Health Experts Alliance Live that is going to, I think, really help you understand the secrets to what these doctors are doing to create the success that they're creating and get the results that they're getting.
Listen, your net worth is your network. And I say that all the time. And rubbing shoulders with the doctors that you bring to the table, and that it's like this genius group that you bring together, and it only makes you a better person yourself. So Isaac, it's going to be held in the beautiful hotel up in Avalon, correct?
Yeah, Avalon and Alpharetta, Georgia. Yeah, Hotel Avalon.
It's easy for a lot of our doctors local, but also you can fly in, and super excited. I can't wait to be there and stop in as well with you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Good luck tomorrow. I know it's a big day.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm becoming a US citizen. So yeah. I'm doing my interview. I've been prepping this morning at like 3:30 in the morning. I'm like, I haven't even studied this thing, and I didn't know it was in it. And then I realized it was super simple and I didn't need to stress. At 3:30 in the morning, I'm like reading through it this morning.
I always call him Sir Isaac Jones. He's knighted in my world, and really appreciate you coming on this morning. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And one last thing I'll say is that Hotel Avalon is a very small hotel. It's boutique hotel. So we don't, like, if you want to get into this seminar, I'd book your room and get access to it ASAP, and Matt will have a link.
I'll put the link below. Thank you, cool. Isaac, and we'd love to have you back on in a few months just to do a follow-up.
Yeah, thank you, Dr.
Good. God bless.
Okay, much love.